he came to know these as friends and colleagues. And in the post-war time, he was invited member to a Norwegian group working on living with nature. That was their issue. They were very concerned about that. And in a way, it's funny because Norwegians very often don't care about nature. They've got so much on it. So they just go there when they like skiing or climbing in the mountains or so. Otherwise, they are back in their houses and they don't think about doing something to the houses connected to the nature around. But these architects worked on that matter. And one of the ideas they came up with was building a wall along the roadside. Then you could come on the urban side of the wall with your car, park your car, and pass through a door in that wall, and then you had your living on the back side with glass walls around it. You could sit there with your back to the wall, contemplating in front of untouched nature. Nature side, urban side. That was the idea, front and back, or whatever it could be. And that was what Utzon wanted when he came back to Denmark. First he made his own house in the forest here nearby at Hellebæk. It's extended, I think it has changed quite a lot later on. But the idea was coming through the forest, coming to the wall with just a door and nothing but. And then on the back side of that wall, you had your sofa, your coach, fixed to the wall, so you were sitting there, not in front of your visitors, talking together, but side by side, looking on the forest on the other side of the glade. So you had just glass walls around you. Simplicity and modernity, really, it was the very first glass house you got here in Denmark, inspired by Californian Bay Region style and so on. It was really early, back in the 50s. So it was the first house. A few years later, Louisiana was built, for instance, and then you had glass houses all over the place. But the next job Utzon did was Roman houses here for workers on the nearby shipyard here in Elsinore. You may have heard about that. It's not there any longer, but some remains you can see the museum and things. But then Utzon got this job. In fact, we can talk about later, but when it came to that, he wanted to work with that same idea. So therefore you got the houses in a row, separating nature on the backside and the entrance here where you can come and park your cars, as you can see it around. And then you got just a narrow door in the wall, and even the windows, the very few windows you need to pass through the kitchen and so on, are with bars in front of them, really to separate. This is a wall, and we are passing through that now, and we are going into the courtyard. That's the first thing, and then we can talk more about I've got floor tiles for the same reason.
You can keep your shoes on, but please clean them beforehand. Yeah. You can take photos, and then when we enter, just notice how the door is situated in the wall. In Denmark, you may know it's often rainy, it's storming, windy, and so on. Many people have a little extra roof up in front of the wall when they come home in the evening and fumble for their keys and so on. So they are protected against the rain and wind. Here, Utzon decided to instead move the door into the wall. So you're protected by the wall when you find the key, and then you uphold this sort of flat screen where you can enjoy to the full the trees in front of this neutral background. But it's all sort of very minimalistic seen from here.
his seat, open your gates, and so on, and then we can have a small meal afterwards.
Does every house has fish in the yard or
into each garden of where the children are. Then we can have the story.
Do we walk in from both sides?
Yes, you can do that.
There's a door over there and there's a door over there. Yes, please come in and sit down as long as there are chairs to sit on. And as I told you, enjoy the furniture. They are, many of them, museum pieces and very typical Danish at the same time. The reflection. We reflect this. The room reflects less when there's so many people in that.
You still need some chairs. You have to sit on the floor. No, I'll stand.
I can see.
I'll stand.
And you can sit next to me.
Yeah, sure. And another one, come here.
We will just sit here.
That's okay.
Maybe you should limit the number of people on the each chair. I don't know how many it's built for.
No. Okay. I'm fine.
That's crowded.
Anyway, in fact, it all started with Utzon joining a competition on new family living houses for family living in Sweden. Because in Sweden and in Norway and in Denmark, in the post-war time, you had to raise the economy. And one of the issues in that matter was to accelerate the building industry and coming up with something new. And the Swedes wanted a change from the old wooden houses. They had like a wooden box on a brick cellar. And Utzon won that competition on an idea of the courtyard house. And in his entry, he suggested to build a wall around a square 20 by 20 meter. And then you could start with a tiny house in the corner as much as you could afford and continue as long as you wanted to. And even have your grandfather living in the corner and workshops, and things could be inside there. The reason why was he was inspired by courtyard houses he had seen all over the world and the archetype Danish farm. Farm buildings are different all over the world, but the archetype Danish farm is buildings around an inner court, sometimes just in an angle and or 3 wings in that, but very often also the whole way around it. And what Utzon liked about it was you had your privacy inside, your private open area. You could come from open land, pass through the gate, come into the private open space in there. And then you could mind your own business, do exactly what you wanted, and you wouldn't disturb anyone. Very often, when people in the post-war time made their own houses, they had to build them too small because, for economical reasons, they hadn't got the money to do it any bigger. And in Denmark, it was based on state loans because people didn't have money at all. So they could get 60 years loans with very low interest. And they made their houses on about 85 square meters. I don't know what that is changed to feet, square feet or so. But anyway, not very big houses. And so people very often had a mess around their houses. And so they had in Norway and Sweden as well. So Utzon's idea for that competition was to have that traditional courtyard house And then you could keep all your messy stuff inside and keep it neat and clean, and you wouldn't disturb your neighbors on the outside. He won that competition, but when it came to the exhibition the year after in Helsingborg, the Swedes didn't dare to present it the first prize. It was too strange anyway. So they exhibited the second prize. It looked more like a traditional Swedish house. And then, of course, Utzon was rather disappointed, and he went back to Elsinore and spoke to the mayor here, because we still had that shipyard, and always needing housing possibilities for these shipyard workers. And you find quite a few schemes around in Elsinore, sometimes on individual base and other times made as a complex. Throughout times, since the start of the 1900 and so. And Utzon spoke to the mayor and suggested to make something better than the traditional state loan houses you could see around. And the mayor said, okay, you build the first one on your own, based on your private loans in the bank, and so come up with that. And if you can sell it, it's okay to me. And so he did. And at the presentation, 17 houses were booked at once, and therefore he got permission to continue on this 6-hectare area, 60,000 square meters. And instead of giving every family its 1,000 square meters, that was normal back in these days, 1,000 to 1,200 square meters is what you can see around from that period. Instead of that, he gave every family not 20 by 20 meters. He couldn't afford to do it that much, so much as he did in the Swedish competition, but just 15 by 15 meters. And therefore, there's not space enough to build the whole way around the inner courtyard, just in the angle you can see here. So he did that, and every family got its 225 square meters, and then Utzon's idea was to put the rest in common. And there we come to architectural ideas again. Inside a township, this is in the outskirts of Elsinore, but still suburb around here, as it traditionally looks. And instead of giving these 1,000 square meters for every one, he just gave them these 225 square meters and put the rest in common to have untouched nature inside the township. That's a pretty crazy idea, in fact. You don't see that very often. But that was his big idea. Here, it was outside Elsinore still. Everything was growing around, but it was still farmland. No trees at all, nothing. So in many ways, it was a crazy idea for an architect inside the township to come up with the idea of untouched nature, inspired by the Norwegian architects, where they have all that untouched nature. And that was what it was supposed to be. And in fact it is. But it's a story of its own anyway. So Utzon made these houses and spreading out, and the houses in a row surrounds and frame the inner common area. And in fact, it's you have seen on some of the plans, and if not, there are some on the table you can take if you want to. You can see that inner area framed by these houses. In fact, we talk about 3 landscapes. We have the valley on the other side, we can go and see that, and we've got the hilltop where we are exactly now, and you've got the lake on the other side. And then it's all surrounded by the houses, really framing it so nearly hostile, as I mentioned, So very often, people even from Elsinore, living here their whole lifetime, very often don't think it's possible to enter it. It's too private for their impressions. Other people find a way and come in here with their dogs and just to have a walk and so on. But that's the way. So, and this was made for shipyard workers, in fact. And many, the first generation were, half of them were shipyard workers or practical people, craftsmen and so on. Common people, average people. And the rest were young architects and young teachers and so on, but with a very low income, exactly on the same level, all these people, so they could all get that state loan and move in here, and everybody were just starting their family life with small children and so on, so you had crowding of children around here as the very start. You still have some of that first generation living here, but throughout times, many of the houses changed ownership many times and so on. But you still have some of the original generation living here. Yeah. I should like, if I may, talking too much, that's my problem. But anyway,
it goes with the profession, being a teacher.
That's a man of many words. I think talking about architectural design, there are some 3 points to put here. The first one I already mentioned was nature. Utzon's inspiration in living with nature in his own house and here again. And this was supposed to come up with nature. You cannot see it exactly now, but in summertime the grass can grow meter high and with flowers in it and so on. But you cannot just let nature be inside a township. It's artificial. It looks like nature because we have to maintain it, we have to do so much about it. Otherwise it will change into a forest very soon, and the grass will grow into monotype culture and so on. So in fact, throughout 50 years' time, as this has existed, you have to take away nourishment from the soil. You accumulate so much nourishment from the carbon and so on from the air by photosynthesis. You accumulate so much, so you have to take it away. Otherwise, it will just turn into one type of grass, and it will turn into forest and the rest of it, and so on. So we take it away, and we succeed in doing that. And you cannot do it with later farmland. More since the 60s, you started with artificial nourishment in the soil, so you leave heavy metal, what you call it, in it, and it doesn't get out by rain and so on. But here it does, because it was traditional before the 1960s. So we manage, and we can see the result. We have many flowers now. It's coming again. It had changed, but it's coming again. It's very sensible. So you have really to do something about it. We take away about 20 tons of biomass every year, and we do it on our own through three yearly working weekends. It's compared to have half-time professional gardener in such an area. And that's what we do about it. Then we have professionals, we are getting old, and so now we have professionals to cut the grass 1.5 times a year to take away that biomass. And then branches and things we cut down ourselves, and big trees are also done professionally when you have to do it. So that's about nature. The next point is tradition. Tradition in the context of the courtyard house, traditional house. And we have got Spanish architects especially very concerned about traditional architecture and Utzon's inspiration out of that. Back in time, back in some of the 60s, Utzon made a house of his own on Mallorca. And some of you may have seen that, but it's made out of Spanish limestone, traditional bricks there, taken from the site. And the Spanish didn't use it any longer, just for sheep stables and shacks where it could be of some use, because it took up moisture from the ground in that limestone. But then also used traditional Danish craftsmanship and worked with double walls and asphalt paper over the basement. So he didn't take any moisture up. And the Spanish claimed Utzon gave us back our traditional architecture. And he was a great inspiration to Spanish architects. And now they come with their young students to talk about what you can learn from tradition and what Utzon did and so on. And then they go back and think about what they can do on their own. So that's a story about tradition. But also dealing with bricks, working with bricks in the houses. That's traditional Danish material. What Utzon wanted was to have a monolith, a house rising from the ground as just one block. His inspiration was adobe constructions, clay houses. You can see in North Africa and New Mexico, Indian pueblos and so on, where you know these houses like sculptures built up out of clay with small holes in it and the courtyard inside and so on. Very monolithic and in exactly the same color as the whole site around it. It's like the area is just growing up into that monolith. And that's such an expression Utzon wanted in his houses. But in Danish conditions are bricks. We have a tradition since the start of the 1900s. You can see that starting with the Copenhagen Town Hall and Grundtvigs Church and others. And it was developed into perfection throughout the 30s. And the architects who did that were the teachers of the young Utzon. So he really gotten and he was very inspired by what they did, and he had a great respect on that. And therefore he started by working with bricks until 1960, when everything changed after this and turned into industrial building constructions with elements and so on. Then Utzon worked on the Sydney Opera, and one of the really reasons for that is so famous is he managed to change that spheric form into element construction. Nobody did that before. And you can go and study that and see how incredibly he did that. Even when it comes to the roof tiles, ceramic tiles on the outside, they still respect the elements in the whole construction. And the big and the small shells, all of them are constructed out of, I think, just 13 elements, different elements. So it's very simple done. And when it comes to the result, you can still, within as part of the claddering, you can see the whole construction expressed, and on the inside, the construction itself is the only decoration on what Utzon did. Then some architects came and made the finishing of it. That's another story. We don't want to go into that. But Utzon had that respect, and coming from that tradition of Danish bricklaying. So back in the Roman houses, his idea was to use a special pattern for bricklaying in the walls. I will not talk about that, but you have, for instance, no plinth underneath the walls. You used to separate the construction from the ground, from the surface, with a piece of basement of concrete, exactly not to take water or moisture out from the soil, from the ground. You used to have that to separate construction from the surface. Here you have not. You use heartburn bricks at the bottom. So you have that monolithic structure of bricks running up from the ground and forming the different building parts, gables and chimneys and so on. And then you put these building parts together into the whole houses and put the whole houses together as a complex system, just out of one material. And the inside should be as simple as a building, as a bicycle shelter in a courtyard, as you can see it here, just with these few pillars down here and a roof on it. And the rest should be just bricks. Bricks from outside, bricks from inside. Even on the roof, you cannot see the snow on it, but it's the same material, made from the same factory, same clay, made from the brick factory, and you have no pipes coming through the roof, as you used to have for ventilation and other things. Here, instead, you extend the chimney with 4 holes in it, 1 for heating and 3 for ventilation of kitchen, bath and the heating place down there. So it develops into a sculpture, more or less. So in fact, that's the whole design of the house, made out of bricks. And to emphasize that, some of where architects started living here, they used money, spent money on also bricks in the courtyard as pavement. So you have that feeling of the same material rising up in the walls, protecting the roof, and also forming the chimney with ventilation in it, and so on. That's tradition as well. The last part, then I stop, is modernism. Utzon is a romantic architect talking about nature, but he is also a modern architect. It's in his hand, in his fingers, so to speak. And here presented by the glass walls. They are common to, in the later time, since Luciana and all Danish young architects back in the 50s, 60s made their glass houses. So now you have glass walls in most of one-family houses, more or less. But here Utzon wanted to have just a wall of glass, and we are not supposed to have that sofa disturbing the impression. We are supposed to sit there on the backside, contemplating our own private nature on the outside and the common nature further on outside there. That was, in fact, his idea. This is inspired by the modernistic tradition that started in Europe in 1920s by Corbusier in France and Mies van der Rohe in Germany. And one of the icons on modernism is Mies van der Rohe's Barcelonian Pavilion from 1929, where he made a platform with some walls on it made some of glass and some of marble, and with a roof covering part of that. And you could go there, pass through it, and go out again. You couldn't close the house. It was nothing. It was just space construction, in fact. And nothing was put into that exhibition in that special house compared to what other nationalities put into their dream castles. Everything they wanted to sell on that exhibition. The Germans didn't exhibit anything but the house. And that inspiration with these walls, that organization of space was the icon on modernism. And so if you open the doors here, you can get the same impression in fact. Even when you open the door outside there, that will also leave the glass wall. So you just have that freestanding glass wall in here. Tiny representation on what it is about, but still, it still works in late modernism as well. And also, when it comes to the kitchen, it's just like a furniture. When I talk to Swedes about that kitchen, they don't call, they claim this is a, what do you call it, cabinet or
Kitchenette.
Kitchenette. It's nothing, because Swedes like big kitchens for family living and so on, but it's just that tiny thing. But even then, you had that, what was modern back in the 50s, a hole in the wall between the kitchen and the dining place, where you could, American kitchens we talked about opening up that way around. But when Utzon did that, he stretched the whole length of the kitchen. That's modernism as well. Minimalistic modern.